Hello everyone, welcome to our tutorial discussion follow-up video on reusable sanitary ware. On the 28th of May, which was Menstrual Hygiene Day, we held a WhatsApp tutorial discussion addressing the questions concerning the videos that we posted initially. So the reason why we are doing all this is because we want everyone to be able to make their own reusable sanitary ware and to be able to share the knowledge so that others can do the same. And we are doing these videos to address these questions because many of you might have the same questions. But in the event that your questions are not addressed or they are not properly addressed, please feel free to contact us on our Facebook page, Instagram, send us an email if you can, or contact any of the Chengetai members. Before I start, I would like to acknowledge two important organizations that made all this possible, and these are Ignite Youth Organization and Chengetai. So I'll start with the first question, which reads as, is it not difficult to use toweling material since it can be is it not difficult to use toweling material as an inner since it can be difficult to clean? Then the question goes on to say that, doesn't toweling material make it difficult to wash off blood, especially if it stays too long? So the first concept I want you to master is that, especially after you keep the pad for too long with blood, you need to soak it in vinegar and bicarb. Why are we using vinegar and bicarb? Because they're cheaper and they're easily accessible. This is better than using detergents such as bleach, which might be a bit more expensive. And for those who can't easily access the vinegar and the bicarb, we advise you to use non-perfumed, non-scented soaps, because perfumed scented soaps can cause itchiness, can cause a rash, and may actually lead to vaginal infections. Then I'll just read a short list for you of things to avoid and things that we advise you use. So what we advise you to use are bio powder products, and then the non-scented, non-perfumed soaps. And we also advise that you use phosphate-free powders. Why to avoid? Avoid the perfumed scented soaps, bleach, fabric softeners, perfumes, and non-bio products. So I hope we all remember these things and we're able to use them properly.
Hi guys, my name is Chengetai, and thank you very much for your questions. I'll be answering questions 2 and 3. Question 2, you asked what is the best material to use and what are the pros and cons of using that material. Well, the best material to use, ideally for the butterfly, is a fleece, but alternatively you can use cotton or flannel. And the idea behind that is that Chengetai wants there to be ease of access of materials. So we even tell the ladies that they can use old baby jumpers that they can sterilize using bicarbonate soda and vinegar. For the toweling, you can use an old towel that one can cut up, or you can sew multiple layers of cotton together for increased maximum absorption. The pros of using this material is that, firstly, they're environmentally friendly. There's a long-term cost to them. There's a variety of choice. They don't use any chemicals, and they're easily accessible. The cons of using this material is that the pad may leak when removing it, and it may take time to suit one's fit. And lastly, there is an initial cost that one has to incur if they don't have the above mentioned materials. Question 3. You guys asked because in the rural areas, bicarbonate of soda and vinegar are not easily accessible, if lemon can be used as an alternative to that. Well, I wouldn't say lemon is an alternative. Lemon is more of an added benefit for bleaching. In the rural areas, it is advised that they use waxing soaps, preferably the white ones, because they have no scent, coloring, and perfume, and they protect the vaginal area.
Hi guys, I'll be answering your frequently asked questions pertaining to the reusable pads, and I'll be answering fourth and fifth and the sixth question that you guys have. So the first question that we have is, after how long should a person change their pad to avoid spoiling? And we would recommend that you change your pad after at least 3 to 4 hours. This also depends on the person's flow. It varies from person to person, but we just recommend at least 3 to 4 hours. And then one of the questions within that question that normally does come up is, at night, how many pads should you use? We normally recommend 1 or 2 depending on the flow too, but then 1 should be sufficient. The main thing is to be comfortable and remembering that during the night, because of your position, you're laying down horizontally, your flow does become reduced. The fifth question that we have says that sustaining a pad can be a challenge throughout the day, especially when you're away from home, either at work or at school. And we understand that this can be difficult when bathrooms and water are very inaccessible. How we would answer that question is, we can use a wet bag. A wet bag is any form of bag that we can roll up the pad in and safely store it in. And that ranges from a plastic bag that you could put some holes in, or your toiletry bag that you can put some sort of plastic bag in it so that it doesn't get spoiled. And once you do get home, you could easily soak the pads, the ones that you'd have used up during the day. This also helps in saving water instead of washing each pad each time, but that also depends person to person. Either way, it would be good to save water. And then we'll be going on to our last question. So the last question that we have came from a person who read an article that stated that cold water can be used when washing up pads. And this is true. Cold water can be used. However, the concern is that over time, the pad fabric does become hard and might not be as germ-free. So we would still recommend using either hot or cold, but preferably hot water, as it kills all the germs. And this brings us to the end of our frequently asked questions, guys. If you've got any more questions, feel free to contact us on any of our social media platforms, either Instagram or Facebook. So thank you once again for listening. Bye.
So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me,